Hello, it's Madison Edgar. So for my thoughts on the documentary, I am choosing to do a video. I just thought it would be easier for me. So when I watched the video, at first I was kind of more of questioning why the families wouldn't get the cochlear implants. I just thought from my perspective, giving them the best opportunity to hear as they could wasn't a question, and that they should just go ahead and do it, no questions asked. But as I started watching the video, I didn't understand, maybe because it's not my culture and really what I've been introduced to, that there's a whole lifestyle behind the world of deaf. And I never understood how people who are deaf think of people who can hear, and how separated they think they are, and how they think that if they get the cochlear implant, they're only entering the hearing world and they're leaving the deaf world. So that's kind of what caught me off guard with one of the families. So there was two families. I think they were related, but one family decided to get their baby cochlear implants, and they thought about it. They thought of what could happen. They thought through it, and they did decide to do it. And the other family, they were thinking about it because their 5-year-old daughter wanted it, and their whole family's deaf. And with this other family, the baby was the only one that was deaf in their immediate family. And so the people they were all deaf, they were a little more hesitant on the cochlear implants just because they didn't think their daughter would no longer be part of their deaf world, and that she would only want to be with the people who are hearing and socialize with them. But I think, just from my perspective, I've never been introduced to, I guess, the deaf culture. I've never been part of it, I guess. But for me, my family, we learned sign language. I picked up a couple things, but I don't remember a whole lot. But we did it out of the fact that if we can broaden our horizons to do so, we should. Doesn't mean that we're picking or choosing. It's just making things more broadened, and so we can socialize with more people. It's not we're picking and choosing one people to socialize. Just because I can hear doesn't mean that when I learn sign language and I give myself a way to socialize with someone else, doesn't mean that I'm no longer part of my hearing group. I think that with the family that didn't let her get the cochlear implants, they're only thinking solely on her no longer wanting to socialize and be a part of the deaf world, which she has known deaf her whole life. Her whole family is deaf. And just because someone wants to broaden their horizons and learn a new way to get to talk and socialize with other people and to hear, does not necessarily mean that she's no longer going to be deaf and part of that world. You can hear and still be part of the deaf world. That one family there was one person who could hear, her whole other entire family was deaf. And she considered herself part of the deaf world, but her family considered her part of the hearing world. And so I think that when they open up their eyes and see that we're all part of one world, yes, we group up and it's easier to socialize with people who can hear. People should learn and try to talk to people and socialize with people who have a hearing disorder, vision impairment, whatever it is. But just because they try to talk to someone, like that little girl who is deaf, wanted to talk to her friends who can hear, I don't think that it would be a crime, and that it shouldn't be something that they hold against the little girl for wanting, because she's just wanting to broaden her horizons. She's not wanting to leave her community. She's not wanting to leave the deaf world. She's just wanting an opportunity to hear. And so that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I mean, this is just me from my perspective. I'm not deaf. I would never know what it's like for them and for people who have it. That just hasn't been in my life. It may, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not a fortune teller, but I do know that this is just from my perspective, and I know everyone else is going to have a different opinion because of their culture, and I think that's perfectly fine. But that's just my take on that. Okay, thanks.